The punishment fits the crime. It has been said so. How many massacres and slaughters have been justified by this rule? Massacres that exterminated peoples, killed children, and violated women. And the outcome, most of the times, is the lords of those crimes in the past become the people of prestige, elevation, and value today. We abide by their judgments, we watch their coronation, sometimes as religious men, and sometimes as rulers seeking the welfare of nations and peoples. As if nothing ever happened in the past. Perhaps this picture is not seen today as it is, but surely the fog will vanish, the vision will be clear, and we will see the true picture, only when God wills it and history decides to repeat itself. My dear friends, today's destination is the state of Rus in the land of Kiev, an ancient kingdom that encompassed the lands of Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus. The heroine of today's story is a princess who is not like the princesses of imagination or palaces, those who have been etched in our memories since childhood. Our story today is a tale of love and revenge, and not any revenge, but a revenge that aspires to the level of the complete annihilation of an entire people. And the surprise in what you will learn about this princess. Let's not prolong the talk any further, and let's listen together to the story of Princess Olga and her bloody revenge. Don't forget, my friends, your support is crucial for us to continue with this program and the rest of the programs on this channel. All I ask from you is not to forget to like or give a thumbs up to this video if you like my content, and to share your thoughts with our big family by leaving a comment and expressing your opinion. Let's interact, my friends, so that we can continue together with the great things to come. Now get ready very well. Take a deep breath. And let's start. Princess Olga, or rather, Saint Olga. Yes, as you've heard, my friends, a saint. This princess from the 10th century AD was canonized by both the Catholic and Orthodox churches. Of course, we know well that the title of saint is bestowed according to Christian traditions upon individuals who possess qualities of forgiveness, love, compassion, and peace. But this saintess stood out from other saints because of her dark, bloody past. Her story was recorded by historians and chroniclers. Let's begin. Princess Olga was born around the year 900 AD. She was descended from the early Vikings who settled in the area now known as Russia. She married Prince Igor when she was 15 years old. In 945 AD, Prince Igor ascended the throne upon the death of his father, King Oleg. Before his death, King Oleg had established his control over most of the lands and tribes in the region, except for one tribe, the Drevlians. This tribe was known for their rebellion against Igor's ancestors. However, despite their rebellion, the king managed to subdue them, albeit partially, and imposed on them the payment of taxes, or tribute, as it was previously known. After the king's death and Igor's succession, the Drevlians revolted again, openly refusing to pay the exorbitant tribute imposed by Igor. In response, Igor decided to lead his army to the capital of the Drevlians to subjugate them and collect the tribute. The rebellious tribe received word of the approaching army and prepared themselves accordingly. A trap was set for the king and his entourage, and indeed, the army and its king fell into the trap. Igor was killed in a gruesome manner by the order of the Drevlian prince, Mal. The method? They bent 2 birch trees and tied Igor's legs to each tree, and then released the trees to straighten again, tearing the young king's body in half. The king was killed, leaving behind his young widow Olga and their 3-year-old son Sviatoslav. 455. Naturally, Princess Olga assumed the regency until her son reached the legal age. But governance and its associated comforts meant nothing to the grieving widow. The fires of sorrow and grief for the loss of her life partner raged in the heart of the young princess, and revenge became her preoccupation. Opportunity presented itself on a silver platter, as they say. After killing the king, the Drevlians underestimated the abilities of the young princess. Their thoughts even extended to demanding Princess Olga's consent to marry their prince, Mal. The goal? Obviously, to seize power and impose control over the kingdom's lands. For this purpose, 20 elders of the tribe were dispatched to Princess Olga's residence to propose marriage. The surprise? The widowed princess agreed to the proposal, but she requested them to return to their boats to enter the city in the morning, carried on shoulders, as a sign of respect before her people. However, the revenge plan had already begun. Olga instructed her soldiers to dig a trench with the aim of burying the 20 men alive the next day. And that's exactly what happened. The 20 men were brought and thrown into the trench to be buried alive. What's intriguing is that the princess stood by at the edge of the trench as they were buried, according to some ancient historical sources, asking the men if they were pleased with the honor they had received. They, in their last breaths, replied that what they were experiencing was worse than the death of her husband, Igor. Supposedly, this event was meant to quench the flames of anger in the princess's heart, at least to some extent. But alas, the plan continued. Princess Olga sent a letter to Prince Mal, demanding that he send his strongest and bravest men to accompany her to his residence to finalize the marriage. The proud prince, unaware of what had happened to his elders, immediately complied and sent his finest army leaders to accompany Princess Olga. The leaders reached the ancient city of Kiev, the residence of Princess Olga, and with a seemingly kind gesture, she offered the impressive procession the enjoyment of a hot bath in her private baths. The men did not hesitate, and indeed they all gathered at the bathhouse, seeking relaxation and comfort. Their eternal rest began there. The princess simply set fire to the building, burning all within it. No one survived to tell of the horrors that befell them, and the vengeance did not end there. Princess Olga, along with a retinue of her men, headed to the capital of the Drevlians. She sent to the prince requesting a banquet to honor her late husband. Naturally, the prince could not refuse any request from the young princess. The banquet was held, and all ate and drank until satiated. However, suddenly and without warning, Olga's soldiers drew their swords and emerged from hiding to slay 5,000 men from the Drevlian army. And yet, the vengeance did not end there. Panic gripped the hearts of the Drevlians from the angered princess. They offered her peace or payment of tribute, but it was too late. Olga imposed a siege on the capital of the Drevlians for over a year until they begged for mercy. Here was the final chapter of vengeance. Princess Olga announced among the Drevlian people that she would not impose heavy taxes or tribute upon them. Instead, she demanded that each household deliver 3 pigeons to her. Yes, as you heard. And the reason? Listen closely. The Drevlians, due to their suffering during the year-long siege, immediately accepted this trivial price. They granted Olga what she desired. Nevertheless, outside the city walls, the men of Princess Olga worked tirelessly to execute the final vengeance. The pigeons they received from the Drevlians had cloth pieces tied to their feet. When night fell, these pieces were ignited, and the pigeons were sent to their homes. And you can imagine what happened. The entire city burst into flames. Every house, every district, every street was engulfed in the fires of vengeance. People rushed out, seeking safety. But Olga's soldiers were vigilant. Many were killed, others were captured. Only a few lucky ones were allowed by the bloody princess to rebuild their city and pay tribute later. Truly terrifying, isn't it? Here, the princess achieved her vengeance, extinguishing the fires of hatred and anger in her heart, to return to her kingdom after achieving what she aspired to. And now the question arises, how was she canonized as a saint, despite all this brutality and bloodshed? According to ancient documents, Queen Olga, or Princess Olga, was a pagan along with her people. However, after her vengeance was complete, the princess received an invitation from Emperor Constantine VII to visit his kingdom. The invitation was aimed at persuading the princess to convert to Christianity. Indeed, Princess Olga embraced Christianity and returned to her people to convince them to convert. Thus, she became the first ruler from the kingdom of Ruskiev to embrace Christianity, significantly contributing to its spread in what is now known as Eastern Europe. The Russian Orthodox Church canonized her as a saint in 1547, and other churches bestowed upon her the title equal to the apostles in reverence. So, Princess Olga, the saint and patron saint of widows, died in 969 AD in a natural death due to an illness that afflicted her at the end of her life. And with that, the curtain falls on one of the most gruesome and vengeful acts in history.